Alright, looking at a set of gates today. It's a bit noisy here, we're just on a main road. Plenty of trucks there. We'll see how we go. So the customer has disconnected these gates because they don't have the special triangle key there. Now these, I think, are camo gates. So yeah, there's a triangle key right there. I've just got to find these bolts, so I'll have to ask where they've put them, but apparently these gate motors are not working at all. So these are linear swing gate motors. That slides back and forwards and opens the gate. There's a little screw mechanism in there, there should be. Where are we? Oh, it's got a nice special cover in there, we can't see that one. Or can we? No, that's all blocked off there. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is grab the remote control and check the control box, because none of these gate motors are, whoa. So the first thing we're going to do is check the control box, because none of the gate motors work. Now I've taken the 4 screws out of the control box. Generally the control box would be down near the gate, or along the house you'll see a power point connected to the control box, mounted somewhere on the side of the house, and then the cable would run underground to the gate. So yep, these are camo gates. I haven't actually come across this one before. I know I've been out here once or twice to do some remotes. I've actually put an aftermarket receiver on this one and done some lift away remotes that I had lying around, because it was much cheaper than to source the camo remotes, which weren't working very good anyway. So let's look at the receiver hookup first on this camo gate motor. We've got power, which is the red and white wire that goes in number 10 and number 2. So that's your positive output, number 10, and number 2 is your common or ground. And then the next cable is our push button switch, which goes to number 7 and number 2. So the white and black, they're both common or ground wires. Number 7 is your blue wire. We can use white or red, just got those spare there for different channels, so they don't make any connection. Just keep them as spare in case we need to hook up another feature. But we're just using the single channel on the remote. So that's how you hook up your external receiver if you want to put an aftermarket receiver, Bluetooth or Wi-Fi device on this particular camo gate board. There we go, camo control board, ZL90. All right, so the power is on, but we're going to check that first. The transformer's stone cold, so let's get our multimeter out. See if we've got power first. So we want AC power, and this has only got 2 connections. Just make sure you know how to use a multimeter. So we're going to shove these into the power point like so, and that's on, and we've got 240.53, about 240 volts, so the power point is no problem. Beauty there. So we'll plug that back into where it came from. So next we're going to check the transformer. So follow this cable that goes up here. Now this has got an input straight to the control board, which is unusual. So we're going to check the line in on this one. So we've got 240 volts there, so that cable is fine. Next, it looks like we have a fuse, so we're going to check that fuse. Turn the power off. Just unplug it, just to double check. And now we're just going to unplug that fuse to see if we have a blown fuse. Looks like we've already found our problem. That fuse looks a bit dodgy. I'm going to suggest that we've blown our mains fuse. There we go. Let's get up to some light. Yeah, that fuse is completely blown. I'm not even going to check that. Alright, so let's go and get a new fuse, and we'll pop a new fuse in there. And that should send power to this point here, which powers up our transformer. It's very unusual to have mains power going into the board and then out of the board into your transformer. Normally you'd have power point to transformer and everything low voltage on your control board. So just be careful working on these because there's mains voltage here. I'm not sure where these go. This looks like another transformer here. Input 230 volts. So there's another low voltage transformer which powers, I'm guessing that could be an intercom at the front there as well. And they've wired that in. It's a bit average. I'm not sure if that's technically legal, but whoever done that, I'm sure they meant well. All right, let's go get a new fuse, pop a new fuse in there, and we'll be back in a second. Except, I think there's a spare fuse right in there. Didn't see that. That's handy. Let's grab that fuse out. Oh God, that's annoying. It's a magic fuse that's just disappeared. Where the bloody hell did that go? Unbelievable. How the bloody hell can that just vanish? Alright. Okay, so maybe we don't have a fuse just yet. That's unbelievable. I don't know where that went. Found it. Right down there. That's awesome. Let's see if we can get that out. Okay, and that fuse looks like that one is blown, but I don't think that's the same fuse. That does not look like the same fuse that was here before. I will double check that. No, there's no cable in there. No wire in that one. Okay, we've got a new fuse here. Let's pop this in the holder. Like so, and we'll screw that in. It's a bit of an oval shape actually, these things. The top and bottom are wider than the sides. Clockwise direction. Push in and turn clockwise. Now we're just going to check that connection looks okay. It doesn't look like there's any water damage. Fuses are normally caused by water damage, mostly, but this all looks very good. So now we're going to plug it in and see what happens. Okay, hopefully we get some LEDs come on somewhere. Let's have a look. Okay, we had some LEDs come on there, and I think the fuse has already blown. Turn the power off and back on again just to check those LEDs. Alright, the LEDs are staying on. Okay, we've got power and it's stable. So let's try and activate these gate motors. Okay, gate motors are activating. So let's go and find those bolts and we'll put those gate motors back together. Let's see what happens. We've found the fixings in the letterbox. There's a bit of a metal sleeve here, and we'll grab a bolt. Yeah, this might be a bit tricky one-handed. Oh God, where did that go? Right here somewhere. Alright. Right, so this metal sleeve slots into here, like that. Gate motor goes over there, and bolt sits in there like that. Okay, so one down. Let's go put the other one in. Now this might only have one sleeve. Yep, the other one may have fallen out when they dismantled the gate motor. I'm going to check out the other side. I imagine that sleeve has been lost. So for now, we're not going to waste any time. We're just going to put this bolt in. Just chuck the nut on the bottom. We'll give it a test, shall we? Okay. Auto gates. There's no action just yet. We still got power. We do not have any power because, why is that off? That's right, we turned it off so the gate motors didn't operate. Okay, let's go. Not sure why that gate's open more than that one, but we'll see. Alright, opened. Opened. Closing. And come on. Get going. No, that's trying to open. Why are you trying to open? Come on, close. There we go. I reckon the geometry of this gate is not the best. It's trying to push the gate off the hinges rather than swing it inwards, which is maybe why we blew the fuse. That gate motor's stopping short, so we need to adjust that hinge. Okay, they're both closed. So there's a massive gap on that one. So I reckon this needs to be moved on the hinge, I believe. Pop that out. Let's close this gate up. These gates do not close very good at all, do they? But it's going to have to be good enough. Let's make this one close first, I think. Let's open up this one. Let's make this one close first. On top of that one. So far, yes. Well, not simple. Alright, so we definitely need to change the geometry of this hinge to gate connection. It's too straight, it needs to be on an angle to push the gate inwards, because I just noticed bottom hinge all good. Look at that top hinge, it's just been ripped off for the gate because the gate's trying to push, the gate motor's trying to push outwards, and it's ripped the hinge off the gate where it should be trying to push more that way. So I'm going to get some new screws. Got one busted off there, one looks okay. Might put a couple more holes in that hinge. And bloody hell. To lift the gate up, I'm going to use my Viking arm. Got two of them. This will just bump under the end of the gate. Give it a squeeze. You might go behind the gate. Actually, we'll go on this side. Alright. You can do this left-handed. These lift 150 kilos. So as we pump up, that should get us reasonably level. Maybe a tiny bit more. There we go. Back to normal. I'll do that screw up and I'll put a couple more holes in that hinge as well. And then we'll play around with the geometry of the holes there. Alright, we've got all of our extra screws in that hinge. Everything else looks good. We're just going to fix the geometry. Let's remove our Viking arm. That's inching down. That's all the way down. If you want to see more on these, let me know. I'll make a video. Put that away later. Don't need our drill bit. Don't need that, don't need that. Now we've got to find our remote. Where did we put the remote? In my pockets. Somewhere, maybe. Okay. That should work much better. It definitely won't drag on the ground there. So the geometry is definitely a bit better. It's still quite straight, but as you can see, the gate's not coming all the way back, so that has improved the closing geometry. And the other reason, it could have been totally dragging on the ground down there. Let's give it a crack. That one's closing. Yeah, that's closing all right now. I think we're good. So that one's closing much further in front. The alignment's still quite shocking, but it works. There is literally no adjustment there. There's no gap whatsoever. These posts have just moved way too much. This side here, we probably could come in a little bit, but there's a timber molding around the gate. We'd have to trim that off. Get rid of that molding inside there as well that's getting pushed off. I'll have to get approval to cut this and fix it, but for now it works. And for a rental property, I don't think they want to spend too much. This one might need to open a bit more, which would mean probably coming over a bit. Maybe we'll go in one, which may be where it was before. Well, that's quite open now. Let's see if that closes. Apparently some trucks have put some rocks through this gate, one there and one there, as they're coming up the hill. It's pretty crazy. So that one's closing pretty good. That's perfect. And that just butts up against that one. What I might do, I might actually knock off that timber moulding there, I think. Let's do that and come back. I think that's just screwed in. Let's just unscrew that timber moulding. Maybe on this one, I reckon. Let's do that and come back. Well, we've taken some of the screws out. I'll run over that. Another one there. It just rusted in there. Alright, it doesn't look all too bad. I might have to trim that top off as well. Let's have a look. We'll have to trim that off, I reckon. Maybe. And the bottom one, that should look fine with that moulding gone. Yeah, we'll have to trim that top off a bit. Let's get our timber grinding disc all ready to go. Pretty good. If I wasn't filming, I would do it with two hands. I will trim that up a little bit better. I just want to see if it shuts. Beauty. And by removing the thicker side, the other side was a bit thinner. It'll give a bit more leeway for a bit more movement as well. There we go, that closes pretty good. Alright, so there we go, camo gate motor, problem solved. Just got to chuck the nut on there. Maybe try and find that sleeve. That one's good, just needs a nut. And all working. And we'll go put our control box back together as well. Alright, there's another gate motor video for you. Beauty. I'm that roller door bloke, thanks for watching.